Hello everyone, and welcome to another stream. Today we're going to continue working on our VR horror game. And I've decided to set up the whole green screen and the lights and all the stuff again. Just let me know if you like this setup more than the other or not. I also added a little bit more Christmas theme around the sides. But yeah, let's go into the game as quickly as possible and see how much we can do today. So what I was thinking of doing today is first start working a little bit on the game we were working on, or the puzzle we were working on last stream. Which is, let me... There, I think that's better. So, we split up this ornament last stream. I switched the position of these, so this one is more in front of the player. We moved this ornament into the drawer here, but we did it in the Wonderland Engine, the Wonderland editor. Now what needs to be happening is that the Christmas tree needs to give a sign about what's going to happen with the puzzle, and the puzzle needs to show various icons. So let me quickly grab a few parts here. So the puzzle is going to be that you have to rotate these things in a certain way and align objects, I think, in front. So we need to place 5 different objects right here. And the hint we're going to give the player is in the Christmas tree. So the Christmas tree starts out in white. And when the time is there to do this puzzle, we change the color of some of the ornaments to red. And that's our hint that the order you need to make this tree look. That's basically the idea. Now I noticed there are a lot of... can we select these? No, not really easily. So there are hearts, trees, stars, balls, lights. There's all kinds of ornaments in the tree. And I think we're just going to select 5. Not going to change the tree too much. But I think if we just select 5 of them and we detach them from the tree to make them a separate mesh, we can add a different material and change the material while the game is playing. Nexus, welcome back. So let's see, we need 5 kind of in a row. So let's take this star, this tree. I said A727891. Welcome. Let's do the heart. And let's do this tree. So you don't need to arrange them on this Christmas tree, but you need to align them. So what I'm going to do is add them. I'm going to detach them from this tree so we can change the material on them. Oh, let's do the star as well. The star is on top of the other tree as well. Yeah. Is it shift B? No. How do we detach? I thought it was something with B. It just B. By selection. So now there are 3 Christmas. Hint. So now there are different mesh. And we should be able to just hide the rest to make it a bit easier to select them, because we're going to copy these to this mesh and attach them. We're going to add them to the front, and then we can rotate them with the tree. And we're going to add a couple of them, but there should be only one way of having those aligned in the front. How many? Do we need to have 4? Is that something we can do? Yeah, I think if we do 4, that might work. Why can't I? There. So if we do 4, we should be able to just... Why is it snapping? It's... I don't know. It's doing... It's acting weird. Okay. So let's see if we can take... what's the easiest way? Maybe we can just duplicate this. Doesn't really matter. I did do it right. Yeah. We don't need the star here. There is a star there. Let's separate this by selection is fine. So we are... This is bad what I'm doing. What I was doing, let me explain. If you select it like this, you're not selecting the backside. So what I need to do is hover and press L. And now the whole thing is selected. Do it again. Oh, let's make sure. Oh, it's not. It is deselected. Okay. P, L, and P to separate. L, P to separate. And L, P to separate. And then there's nothing left. So it's going to delete. Tap out. Wait. Oh, it is still selected. Is it this one? Yeah. It's nothing. So now we have all of these. Oh, we actually have 2 of the Christmas trees. We can delete one. So now we need to place these. Well, let's first move them a bit closer. Then the tree. And then this one. And then the tree again. Is there an easy way to align this? Oh, the pivot is off. I think you can do tab and then do Shift S. And then say, no, it's not Shift S, I don't know what it is. Origin to, is it origin geometry? So now the pivot of the object is in the center. So now when we rotate this around the Z, we rotate around the center of the object. And we need to do that with these as well. So set origin to geometry, set origin to geometry, and set origin to geometry. Z. Now, is there an easy way to do the alignment, or are we just going to eyeball it and call it a day? I think we're going to eyeball it. RZ. Let's look at the top. G on the X. Yeah, we're going to scale it down a little bit. So in a second, when we have this set up, we're going to export it and load it into Wonderland Engine again. And then everything should update. And then we can test it in VR as well. So this little tree needs to go somewhere here. Let's look at the top. Rotate around the Z. Let's eyeball it. Rotate around the Z. Eyeball it a bit straight. Let's move it to around the center. Now it is still floating in front of it, but we're going to move it. Maybe we should even extract it so it's... Or... No, we can rotate it. I think when we look at the side exactly, we can rotate it so it's on this angle. I think that's best. Right, let's look at the top. Rotate on the Z and make this about straight. Move it without snapping on the G, on the X and Y plane. Okay. Now this one, let's rotate on the Z and make it about straight. Let's lower the volume a little bit of the music. GZ. No, not on the Z. On the Shift Z on the XY plane. No snapping. And let's eyeball it in the middle. Is that the middle? GZ. So that's about there. GZ. No snapping. About there. And then we said we do this one. Are the angles the same? Oh, let's hide this one. Those are the hints. I think the angles are the same, so we go rotate it first. Let's scale them down so they fit. Oh, wait. The whole Christmas tree is on an angle. Let's make that about straight as well. Yeah. Now let's scale these down so they kind of fit. Let's turn snapping off for now. Scale these down as well. GZ a little bit down. Let's scale this one down so it can fit. And let's scale this one down. Yes. And let's go to the side. And let's rotate them on the edge. So we're going to move them on the Y. About there. And then we do rotate on the Y. No, rotate on the X. To about that plane. Yeah. Let's do the same with this one. G on the Y. Now I'm placing the pivot about on that edge. Rotate on the X. Yes, perfect. G on the Y. Rotate on the X. G on the Y. Rotate on the X. There we go. And then we're going to duplicate this one. Move it down. And now we need to move it out, so it's G on the Y. Do about there. So this is our Christmas tree puzzle result. And now we need to add other objects. First, let's do something different. Let's add these to the right objects. Or is it easier to not do that? No, I'm not going to do that yet. It's easier if I keep it separate because I need to duplicate them as well. I do want to add a circle to this as well. As a ball. Is there anything else we need to add? Let's have a look at the tree again. Are there any other ornaments in the tree we can use? The candle maybe? But the candle is 3D. It's not. The great thing about the other ones, the ones that I picked, these are flat. And the candle is 3D, so we need to make it flat. And the same goes for the ball. But let's just duplicate this. Move it out of the way a bit. Separate it. And let's do the same with the candle. Candle is a bit different because it has a little flame, a wick, a stand. Shift D, duplicate, move it out of the way, P to separate, and now it's a different object. So let's go and hide the tree again. Move these towards the here, this little tree. Let's set the origins back to these objects. We need to make this one flat, I think. Is there an easy way to do that? Or not, we can just cut the bottom part off and just place it on there. Maybe that's fine. To just be correct, let's close it up again. Oh, and I think we need to shade it flat. Oh, I know what's happening. I have the sharp edges turned off. Anyway, I think this is fine. We're just going to move this towards the tree. GX. Scale it down quite a bit. No, right here. Zoom in. G on the X. Like this. And now we rotate on the Y. So it's kind of on the tree. Oh. It's not completely on the tree. G on the Y. Let's move it to about there. So now it is on the tree. And let's do the same with the ball. Although I think you might just be able to scale the ball on the Y. And just make it really... Oh wait, let's do it on the X. Scale on the X. Make it really flat. Like this. Let's move it towards here. Let's go to the front. G, Z. Let's move it down a bit. Scale it down a bit. Let's do G on the X. Let's move it into position. Rotate on the Y. Let's drop it here. So now there's a circle on there. Nice. Yeah. Let's copy this one. Shift D. And let's move it on the Y to the other side. Let's rotate around the Z 180 degrees. Let's look at the side. G on the Z. Move it down until we hit the tree. Let's move it up a little bit and then inwards a little bit. Like this. So now there's a heart there. So what I want to try and do is make sure there's 4 different objects. But only one of the 4 different elements, but only one of the elements we need. So we can have every other object on this row, but only one heart. We can do 2 balls or 2 candles, that doesn't really matter. Only one heart. And the same for all the other ones. But I think it's cool if we can just reuse the same object a little bit. So let's do the Christmas cane. Can I select this, please? Yes. Duplicate. Let's move it out of the way a bit. Rotate it on the Z. That's -90. Let's look from the front. G on the Z. Move it down. G on the X. Is it correct? I think it is not. It is still too much out. Let's do Z on the Y. Let's move it in. Let's move it down a bit more. Needs to move it out a bit more. G on the X. Blender is becoming way easier than it was before. I've been doing modeling for a very, 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 very long time. I think I started out late 90s, maybe. I was in school and then I got a job as a 3D artist and I used Max. 3D Studio Max, and I tried switching over to Blender, but I could not figure out how to do it. It was way too complex. And then, I think about a year ago, 2 years ago, I picked it up again. And the interface changed. It is changed completely. But yeah, you have to really get to know the short keys and the way things work. But there are a lot of great videos and people doing Blender online. Um, I love watching Invensia. He's doing 10-minute modeling challenges every week, I think. And it's just extrude and building a model out of thin air in 10 minutes. But it's very simple and small things, and it is it's a series of basic steps you most likely need to model most of the time. Now what I'm doing is not even modeling, I'm just copying and placing things. It's not different than anything else. If you want to start modeling, you want to go in and select faces and extrude them, and then do things like this and extrude again, and yeah. And even then, it's just it's only a couple of it takes practice. That's something, but it's a few only a few things you constantly repeat and do over and over again, like the extrude and the inset, and the rest is just scale and I'm not even sure what it's called. Does it say? No. You can just add like an edge. Now this one is not even really models really well, since normally you would have this edge you add go all the way, or at least to the center. So I'm not sure what they did with the heart. Oh no! Now I broke it. I don't always show the modeling part during the streams, but I think it might help some people. It is part. If you work on your own, you have to. Shapes XR. I have not used it. I've heard of it, but that's about it. Rotate on the Z. Let's do 90 degrees. Let's move on the Y. Let's look at the side. What did we copy? We did the star. G on the Z. G on the Y. A little bit out. No, not on the Y, on the X. Is that about touching? Yes, it's just slightly in there. I want to do another king here on this row. It should be pretty random. Shift duplicate. Let's move on the Y. Let's rotate on the Z 180 degrees. Go to the top. No, let's go to the side. Let's move it down to about there. Let's move it out on the Y until we see a whole red thing. Yes. Let's do a Christmas tree on this one. Shift duplicate. Let's do on the X. Rotate. Rotate on the Z 90 degrees. Look at the top. Let's go on the Y. Let's move it to about there. Let's go on the Z. Let's look at the front. G on the X. And it's about on the tree. Let's do another ball. Go to the front. Duplicate, move up to about there. Rotate on the Z 180 degrees. Move on the X to the other side. Seems a bit too big. Let's just scale it down. And we need to move it out slightly. Rotation is a bit off as well. Okay, we need to... So now I'm going to rotate on the local X. So now if I do rotate on the X, on the Y, no, on the Z, yes. So now we're rotating on that X. So I switch this to local, so now it's the local axis on this object. So it's still up, down, and then into it, but it's rotated with the object. Just make things a bit easier. If you want to rotate after you rotate it, if you can follow me. Let's see. We have a cane there, we have a heart there, we have a tree there. Let's do a candle on the back there. Let's rotate this 90 minus 90. So you cannot see what I'm looking. I'm looking up in the corner. So when I rotate, you can look up here and you see how much I rotate. That's how I know which way I want to rotate. Now since I'm looking from the top, it's already in the Z. So I'm checking, oh, I need to rotate this way. So it's about 90, and then I type 90 to fix it to 90. And that's how I know how much to rotate. And it's always 90. So that's 2 complete. Now we don't have any mistakes yet. No. What can we put there? A star? Do we have a star on this one? We have a star on that one. I think we need another candle. Yeah. So let's go to the front, shift duplicate. Let's move it to around there. Let's do a rotate on the Z of 180 degrees. Let's move a bit closer, G. And let's just pop it right in there. Rotate a little bit on the, not the Z, on the Y. There. So that's 3 complete. Let's see. We have a cane there. We have a heart on that side. Let's do a heart there. And now I hope we do it correctly. R Z. So that's minus 90. Zoom in. So it's still, I think the angles of the Christmas tree are slightly different on every level. And Y. I always need to think about on what axis I need to move things. So that's why this thing up in the corner here is really helpful. I'm just cheating. Let's see, we need to want something on the back. I think we can use a Christmas tree on the back. Let's take this one. Shift D to duplicate, move on the Y, rotate on the Z 180 degrees. Let's look from the side. G to move, let's put it right there. Zoom in. Let's rotate on the X slightly. That's it. Perfect. Then the last level. We can do another ball. Do we have a ball on the front? No, we don't have a ball on the front. Shift D to duplicate, move it to the top, rotate on the Z. Let's do minus 90 degrees. Let's look from the side. Let's scale this down a bit. Let's move it down a bit as well. Let's move it out a bit. And let's move it on the X a bit so it's right there. Is it on there? It is. Two more. Do we have a candle there? We don't have a tree on this side. So let's duplicate another tree. Rotate on the Z, and that's, I have no idea. Minus 90, I guess. G, X, move it out, zoom in. Let's rotate it on the X, on the Y a little bit. And let's move it up a little bit. Nice. And now we need to have one other right there. We don't have a heart on that side, so let's do a heart. Almost done. Shift D on the X to there. Rotate on the Z 180 degrees. Let's look at the front. If you press 1 on the numpad, you go to the front. Let's move this one to here. Let's rotate it on the Y a little bit. Let's zoom in. I think it's okay. So this seems a bit wide, but I don't want to make them too small. Okay. So now we have these. Next thing is we need to attach these objects to the right thing. So I think if we just look at the front and we just do something like this. No, let's go in here. Let's hide this. So now when we select all of this, doing shift select on this object. Now if I do J, is it J? No, it's, how do I do this? J, Control J, and then it's joined. I want to, the reason I do is shift select last on the right object. So I select all of these. I do shift select on this object. Now everything will be joined to that object. And that's the object I already have inside Wonderland. So that object just stays the same. Although I will get another mesh since right now the material is different. And I think I want to keep that different. I'm just going to light up red as well. Yeah, we can do that. That might be funny. Shift J, Control J, Control J. So let's select these. Control J, select this. Control J. And these. Control J. So now we have this object here. And we have this tree with somehow a set of objects separate. Cool. Let's make sure we save. Let's turn everything back on. Why can't I turn everything back on? It's this slash. Cool. Save. I set up a... I thought I set up a short key to export. Yes. So when you are in here, for example, you can just right click and add to quick favorites. And then you can just hit Q right here. So we have this FBX export, which I'm using all the time, just to make it a bit faster. So now I've exported everything. And let's just reopen the project. And it kind of worked partly. So we miss the bottom one. Everything. Oh no. Okay, everything everything is screwed up now. So we need to add another mesh to this object. And we probably have another 62. 61, I don't know. Damn it. This is 61. 59. So we're missing 60. Can we just do 60? So 60 is also objects. An easy way to fix this is just deleting this and importing it again as a separate object. I think that's just the easiest way to do things. Let's quickly check out the tree because this is probably missing the objects as well. This has two meshes, which it already had. So there should be another mesh now. I don't know which one. Is it... just in here somewhere? It should be in here somewhere. I don't see it. So these are the two meshes of the tree. So this is something that's still a bit tough, this workflow. I'm going to export these as separate objects. If I make these all the same material, would that make things easier? I don't know. I'm just going to do export and I'm going to do select object. And I do tree puzzle. And I'm going to do the same with the tree. The hints are a completely different mesh. So if I do this, I do Q to export FBX, and I say a large tree. Selected objects, there we go. Let's go in here. Let's select this toy tree and delete it. Now we should be able to go into models. Let's delete this tree as well. You know what? I'm going to leave this tree. I'm just going to delete the meshes from it. I'm going to use this as the... Oh, what did I do? That's weird. I'm just going to delete the Christmas tree. That's a small bug in the engine. Add empty, let's call this tree. So now we are in the models folder. Let's make sure we reopen the folder. So we have the large tree and we have the tree puzzle in here. So let's first take the large tree and drop it onto this. So now we have the tree and the tree hint. With a little luck, it's still in the right position. Only the materials are gone. But that doesn't really matter. Since... it's basically this texture that is just wrong. There we go. And it should not be normal mapped. It can be just textured. It's funny, these, I don't know why these are red. I've exported them from Substance Designer. And if I export a texture, a PNG from Substance Designer, they become red. I don't know what's happening there. There's something special in the material. Somehow they become red. Maybe some weird optimization or something. And they're just normal textures in the at runtime. But if you show them here, they're red. I have no idea. It's always when I export them from Substance. So that's that one. And then the puzzle. Now we have, probably still, if we select this drawer. And you can move it out. -1, yeah. So then we can see inside. There is this object right there. Why is it doing that? And that mesh is gone. So we have this tree piece. And this right now has, yeah, it's broken. It has the 4 pieces on it. So we are going to change that. So this is going to be an empty, and we're going to call this tree puzzle. And I'm going to drop the tree puzzle model on top of that. So now we have the whole mesh as we had it before. Although the position is completely off because it's not in the in the tree. But I think if we can just select it like this, it's fine. I don't know why it's doing this if I select it. Materials are off, but the tree... Oh, that's weird. Why are these black? Are these separate? Or is it just because they're in the back? Universal shader, lol. Let's just all set them to white for now. And then we just need to pick layer 4 or 5 or 3, I don't know. I think we had the middle layer. We take the middle layer, we put that in the drawer. I think if we take this material, we add a special material for this tree, which is white at the start. That's also used at the ornaments in the tree. And then at some point in the story, we change that material to be red. And then all of a sudden, those things are all highlighted in red. And then these elements become red and the tree becomes red. The ornaments that are giving the hint. So let's take this and let's set this to white. Now it's not the normal white. There is a white here, I think. I think this is the white we used everywhere. No, it's this white. Yes. The other white is shadowless. I used that for the arrows that were showing on the floor when you teleport. So this mesh is also going to be white. Now the ornaments are not visible anymore. So maybe we need to have a gray. We need to do something special with it. Let's check our resources. Materials. So all of these materials were exported from the model. And most of them we don't need. Let's see, that white. It's not textured, but we can duplicate it. Rename this to gray. Drop that in here. And now we can change it to be just slightly darker. So now, wait, where did the... Oh no, not again. I need to report this as a bug. That is still happening. Let me quickly write it down. One moment, then I don't forget to report it as a bug. Using material on mesh. There. Just note to myself. We probably need to change the other one first. It's a weird issue. So if we change this one first, now this one is updated. So now when we change this to gray. Oh, I did a lot of undos, I guess. Yeah, the gray is gone. Duplicate. Gray. We drop the gray into the material slot here. See, now they are still here, but now not gray. I do want to have a little bit of contrast here. So if we make this gray, now we can see the white there. We need to make sure the last one we need to change first. So we do white, and then we do this one to gray. And if we do it in this order, that it doesn't. Mess things up. Let's make this one white. And then this one gray again. Now they're not going to stay white because it's going to be a special material for the tree hints. On it, white. White. And then this one too. Great. I'm going to rename this material. No, it's not going to be gray. Because this is a special material that we're going to change the color of at a certain point in the game. So this is the tree puzzle ornaments. And now we're going to do the hints here, which are things that are hanging in the tree. Can we see them all? I think we can. We're going to do this tree thing as well. Oh no! I messed it up again. Okay. It's not, it's the other way around. This is just going to be gray. We need another material. Let's just duplicate this one. This one is going to be the tree ornaments, a tree puzzle ornaments. And it's the bottom part, what's white here. Those ones are going to be the tree puzzle ornaments. And to make sure we know what we're doing, I'm going to make them red so we can actually see them right now. So this is what's going to happen in the game at some point. So they start at white, and when you need to do something with them, they're going to be red. But I'm going to set them up right now here so I can see what I'm doing. And this one as well. There we go. Would it be clear enough that it's this line you need to do? But you cannot just pick it up. It's a puzzle. I don't know. I've never done puzzles before. So I hope people understand what needs to be done. And then this one is also the tree. Maybe we need to rotate them a bit. Right. And then we're going to take this piece, delete that one, and I'm going to take this piece and drop it in there. Reset. Is it in the drawer now? It is. So now I can move it down like that. Cool. So now it's in the drawer. Now let's put the drawer back. Now I move this drawer exactly 1 meter so I know where to put it back. So now we have a tree with a missing piece, which is not visible when I do this. So we have the tree with a missing piece. We have hints in the tree. And yeah, we're going to start out and then just rotate these randomly. And then you need to get them back into this order. And the order is that order. Let's see. We haven't done that before. This moment. Let's see if it works in VR as well. So let's switch to VR now. I think it works. Yes. So I need to press this little button here. There we go. So now it starts in VR. Okay, so that's the little tree. Now we cannot do anything with it. Let's see. Here's the drawer. There's that other piece. So we can pick up that piece. Now we cannot do anything with it yet. But we need to put it... Am I hitting something? No. So we need to put it there. Just drop it somewhere here. And then it's going to go there. And then we're going to change those. Now I think we need to add a light to the tree as well. Cool. So now we have a working drawer. We have this one. So if it's just white, it should not show up at all. Let's see what it looks like when it's white. Oh. I changed the buttons on my stream deck, so now I'm selecting the wrong scene. Let's make these white. Let's add the Christmas light. So all of these arrows are lights that are in the scene. I think this light is for the door, but it lights up the Christmas tree as well. I think. Let's just check in the code. So we have these acts. And that's right now it's doing the overview light. So we have a light system. And here are just the lights. We have all the lights that are in the scene are just the light components. And I can just say, well, I want the overview, and then those lights need to be turned on with that settings. So say I want to have the door as well. Now we have the door light. So let's go in here. Let's just do that in the browser real quick. Now we're going to get the music as well. But if we do, I cannot hit play. We need to go into here. Now it's, oh, it's in VR. Nice. Let me make sure I have this one selected. We need to select our little button there, and let's do select. Yeah, see, now we have the tree selected as well. So now the whole room is lit up except that corner. So we need to go there. That's basically the idea I'm having, is that the lights light up when you need to do something. So we have the red color that gives hints, and we have the light that is lighting the room to show places where you need to go. And in this case, it's the hints here. I wonder, did I add a star to the top one? I did not. Okay. I was a bit afraid that the red star here, which is not really doing anything, maybe I should make this red as well. The star at least. I don't know. But this is not Act 2. So we kind of have this set up now. But this is going to be Act 4, I think. So yeah, I have in my, I can show probably, I think. So this is my my document for the Christmas game. I just started out with Christmas and then went from there. This is the story, ideas, decisions. Yeah. So you have a title. When you start, you go into Act 1. You see that we have this basically in the game already. We have the sound. That's when Act 2 starts. I want to add this after the puzzle. Then you have, you look out the window, then there should be a pentagram on a door with the 5 Christmas symbols, letting you know that's what you need to do to get out of the room. Solve those 5 puzzles. And then, I haven't really figured it out yet. I've cut up the puzzle. But I guess that's when the puzzle starts. Now this is not still not really on the game, on the puzzles yet. Damn, I need to do so much. I think I'm just going to commit this for now, and then we're going to add Act 2. And then Act 3 will be the tree puzzle for now. Although it does not have anything to do with anything else. So this is a puzzle. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm still missing a puzzle. Maybe we do 4 puzzles, I don't know. Let's commit this for now. Commit. Let's go in here. Progress on tree puzzle. Commit. Push. Instead of coffee. So let's set up Act 2, Act 1 again, which is basically this. Let's check. Right now I created a timer of 30 seconds, which is way too long. The way this is set up is also not really good, but let's do 10 seconds. Let's add a timer of 10 seconds as well. Just register that for now. We don't need to have the music for Act 2, and we don't need this, the light scene of the window. That's something we're going to do later. This is also something that's still in development, the way this works. So we have this task system. And I just want to be able to just register tasks and then use them, but also reuse them. So I think there needs to be a global list of tasks. I mean, music part, the acts, the poems. It's actually the first verse of the poem. Although this is connected to this specific object. So there is no other way this could work in another scene. But for example, the music act, it's a music task. If you look at the music task, it selects a part, and when it starts, it changes the music. That's basically what it does. And I have a couple of those tasks. Where do I have them? Right here. So I can set the lights. I can change the music. I can show an object. I have a timer. So these are just the basic tasks. And then what it actually should be doing, the details. So when this task is run, it should do music act 1. But I don't have to be in this specific file. So let's see what happens when we do this. I think we can do that in a local device. Now I am going to keep the music on here. So let me lower this real quick and pause the original music. So now we have the game music going. It should not be too loud. So we can move around. This music will just keep repeating until you hit the play button. So we hit play. Oh, we had a breakpoint. Damn it. Now the music fades away. Now we have the wrong lighting here. But now, after 10 seconds, we should go back to this screen and get the first part of the story. Now we should be able to click this OK button. And there is nothing, there's nothing there yet. So now we have gone this poem. Oh, and now the music. So the thing with the music is that it's playing on a worker thread, I think. And if it's losing focus, the window, then it stops playing the music, but keeps repeating the last few seconds. So let me mute this. At this point, we need to go to the next scene. Actually, we don't even... Oh, that's funny. We don't exit the scene. Task Manager instance start. Huh. Oh, yeah. We don't exit. We cannot exit the current scene yet. The current act. Although we do something like this here. When we click the title screen. And we do the button press thing. Title act, button pressed. So yeah, it's title act, button pressed. Oh, story instance, next story part. But I think we need to create. I think we need to have a task that goes to the next story part that just ends the act. Let me. Turn the music back on. So let's add that task. File, new, next story part task. The TS. Now this is going to be a task. Let's resolve the import. This needs to implement a few methods. And I think we only need this one. And let's grab this line. Let's drop that in on start. And we need to resolve this one. So now when the next story part task is started, we're going to the next story part. So now in Act 1, we can register that task. Now I want to get this should change. We need to give it an ID. Let me do this. Now we need to write this down. It's so much work that's not... Oh, it's Act 1. It's funny how you can build code and then not be a fan of the code you build. And we need to push it here as well. task dot. Now technically we can do just, if it's registered, if it's in the task registry, we can just say, well, this is a global thing. It's not specific to Act 1. We could just register this globally, say next story part, and then say, okay, well, we want task next story part pushed at this position. Now there is no next act yet. So let's just do a new file, act 2.typescript. And let's grab this piece here. Let's make sure we like this, like this. There we go. Now I want to override one or two methods. So when we enter this, I want to go and change the light scene. And we do override exit. So when we exit this, I want to also change the light. If something happens, I always want to reset things when we exit. So let's try something. Let's do window in this case. Or bed. I don't know. Yet. So when we get here, we're going to trigger some sound effects. After a few seconds. Yes. Let's first check if it works. So we should at least change the lighting when we enter this. So when we click OK on the poem, we continue to the next task. This task is just one part. Let me quickly check if I don't need to do something specific to end the task immediately. No, it's just when a task starts, I need to do it. Yes, the task should finish immediately. I do need to do it. So there's a task runner here. Let me show you. And this will just constantly run an updating task. So if it's not started, it starts the task. If it's not finished, it calls an update on a task. So we can do animations and that kind of stuff in the update of the task, or check something or whatever. And then when it's finished, we're going to end the task and drop it from the queue. And that means that we automatically go into the next current task, which is not started, so we start it. And then go into the update loop. Unless it's immediately finished, then we go to the end and it's done. So it's pretty easy. We're just going to push things on a queue. Those are the tasks. And then we can say, well, we want to leave it after a certain amount of time, for example, which is a timer task, which is a timer in the update loop. Just counting down, and when the time is done, it says finished it true. Very, very, very easy. If you want to change things with other things on animations or on over time, we can do that as well. Pretty versatile system. Although I think it's overcomplicated already. But yeah. I have a tendency to overcomplicate things. Why is there a breakpoint there? Oh. Yeah, I've been doing bug testing. Okay, VR. Are we in VR? Yes. So we have this little button. Okay, so we wait 10 seconds. Then we should get the next part of the story. There we go. Let's move this hand to here. So now when we select this, we should go and we get an error. And it's probably because... Oh, yeah. There is no next act in the game yet. We need to add this act 2. And I think this only needs to have the act 2 script in here. Now with act 1, I have the light action. I'm not sure why is it used. It's funny, there is no light action. It is a poem object. That light action is not used. At first I had the lights differently set up. There is a reference here to the poem object. Everything that's necessary for that act we can just add to this act object. So we just have things a little bit split up. And I think maybe in the story, yes. In the story, that's why it crashes. There's no end to the story. So we have a big story thing here. I want this to reference Act 2. Well, the reason I want to do it like this is that this way, when I'm debugging and working, say I have another couple of acts, I can just say, well, just skip those. And I'm just going directly into Act 7 if I need to. So having it set up like this make things a tiny bit easier. I can also, for example, add a debug key. So if I do 1 on the keyboard, I can just skip to the next act if that's necessary. Which would make things a lot easier to work with and to build and debug. And now at some point, I hope to have a lot of these systems ready that I can just go in and just put a game together without having to think of this. The stupid thing is that every game I try to develop, I come up with new systems. So now we have this. Oh, we need to set this up here. At first I was thinking just to scan the children. The difficulty is the order of the children is not set. It can change. There's no guarantee they stay in this order. So you cannot just say I want to go to the first child and then the second child. It doesn't work. So I need to set something in the order. Now the way, yeah, this is the easiest way. Maybe in the future there will be a way to just add an array of acts. I can just say, well, I have an I act component or an act based component, and these are all just act components or objects containing acts. And I can just add 7 objects to an array. And those will be in the same order then. But that's, I don't know. I don't know if that will be in the engine. I hope. That would be great to have an array thing. We do have Act 2 in there now, so we should be able to just go in here. It's automatically refreshing. That's nice to have. Let's go here. Are we in VR? Yes. So I think if we just move this, we can go. Select it. Wait a few seconds. 10 to be exact. There we go. And now we have the window set up. Nice. So now the light changes again and we have the window. So this whole setup just works. I don't need to hit save. But I do want to try it in VR. So let's go to VR and test this out. I mean, we're doing VR development, so we need to test in VR and do things in VR as well. This also automatically refreshed, so we can go in here. We do play. Now the things are still red, and we see our little hands there. After 10 seconds, we should go to the text. This was the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. Sounds familiar. The rest is not. Let's go into OK. Now we have here, we can teleport to there. Things are red, and we should be able to see outside. And there's a reindeer there. Nice. And the rest is dark. Now the trick is, when we look at the reindeer, there need to be markings in the snow with red footsteps, bloody footsteps, and stuff going on. Maybe the reindeer should be a little bit more evil looking. Turn his head to you, and then there's a noise, and then lights go on, and there should be a marking on the door. At least that's the idea. No, not that one. So let's add a component to trigger a sound effect. It's similar to the music, although we have a music manager here. A music manager is well, there are parts. I'm using Fmod, so there are parts here, and this is playing a part. I'm going to add a sound manager as well, and that's going to trigger sound effects. Do we have a lot of sound effects? I don't think we have a lot of sound effects. Right now we have one. So it's basically a duplicate of this sound manager. Let's just do that. Let's just add a sound or SFX manager, SFX manager.ts. And I think this is a normal component, right? Yes. And this has an instance because we want to be able to call it from wherever. You know what? Let's do makes things a bit easier. This automatically names the components to the right thing. But I want to call this override. And it's not static right now, right? Yes, this needs to be static. We need to have, well, basically we need to have the same thing we have in the other one. So it's not a sound manager, it's this one. We do need to add mod instance. Why can't I get that in? Is that in here? Fmod instance, that's from here. Doesn't resolve. Probably because it's a bit. Let's call this instance. I think this works, right? Yeah. Not here, but okay. We don't have music parts. I think we're just going to SFX and call this a string. It's not used. But this is going to be different. This is going to be... I have no idea. It's... I built it myself, but I forgot what it's called. It's still a work in progress. Just give me a sec to open this project up so I can check what it's being called. I think this is it. No, it's not. This is the wrong one. It's the wrong one. And it's screwing with me. Is it the right one? This is the right one. So this is the Fmod project. And we have the manager, we have the event emitter. Now we don't need to emit the event. Wait, I do this already. It's the same thing as the music. Well, with the music, we set a parameter. It's funny, you can do this all the time, and when you start streaming, you just forget how everything works. So music, it's an instance that is emitting when it starts. And then this just starts working. Okay. Let's go into Fmod and have a look. I need to look up what I called it and what the parameter is. So I think this is the one. We have the roof crash. This sound. Yes. Tiles flying off. I forgot to add the jingle bells, but we can always add that. It's in master. And I think we can just copy the path. And the path is what we need to trigger it. I thought I heard something. So event roof crash. So everything is an event. So we just need to trigger that event. That's it. So in the SFX manager, we say, how do we trigger the event? Do we need to create a different instance? I'm not sure. So that's the event. Yeah, we do need to have the instance. Because this is what we're using to trigger it. So if we just do add object empty sound effect Fmod, and let's do Event instance. Right? This should not do anything. It is in one of the banks, but I think it figures that out by itself. The thing is, now I need to hard code fmod sfx. I was fast enough. You know what? I think I'm going to figure this out outside of the stream. I think I'm going to end the stream right here. Let me just refresh this screen so we have a nice title of the game on screen. Yeah, with that, I would like to thank you for watching. I will probably stream again later this week. Probably Thursday, I think. Maybe Friday. Keep an eye out on my Twitter, which is Sorskoot. Also, make sure you join the Discord to stay up to date to everything, get notified. Or you can just subscribe, hit the bell, and do the thing. And then you know when I go live again as well. Yeah, next stream we'll probably continue working on the story and the puzzles probably. So with that, I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next stream. Bye bye. Mo, how are you doing? I'm just ending. Well, I talk to you later. Bye bye.